So I've done a couple of videos with quotes from the letter from the Birmingham jail that Martin Luther King Jr. wrote. And this is another one, the last of them, so there were 3. And near the end of the letter, he's taken the criticisms of he was writing this letter in response to another letter that white clergymen had written and had posted in the newspaper calling for the demonstrations in Birmingham to stop, because it was even though they actually agreed with, it's not that they didn't support integration, they probably would have been fine with it, but they didn't like the way that Reverend King was going about it with the demonstrations. This wasn't the right way to do it. And one of the things that they tendered, I think, was the idea that there should be more patience in the Black community. And so, Reverend King was responding to each of these criticisms with his point of view all throughout the letter. And so, in answering the idea of having more patience, he's been very kind and very gentle with these people, but also very definite. This is how you are not seeing things clearly. Anyway, so at the end of the letter he says, "If I have said anything in this letter that overstates the truth and indicates an unreasonable impatience, I beg you to forgive me. If I have said anything that understates the truth and indicates my having a patience that allows me to settle for anything less than brotherhood, I beg God to forgive me." And I just love that he is saying that I have no patience for settling for anything less than brotherhood. And the thing to keep in mind with Reverend King, and that I think is missing in so many of the movements and things that we have, for good reason, but still, he absolutely was saying the time is now, and they did direct action to cause things to happen, like the integration of buses in Montgomery, and the integration of lunch counters and other public spaces and jobs, workplaces in Birmingham, and of course with the intention that this should spread everywhere, but these things were specifically done in specific places first. And then we're reading the book, I still have yet to read in Selma, so I just read the chapter about the March on Washington, which took place in August of 1963. But, so they had very definite things that would return dignity and reality of being human to the Black community. But the other portion, the crowning portion of what he was trying to do, was not to end at this, we get what we're asking for, which is just being human and being treated like humans, but also that we would have brotherhood. That was his final commission to his community. We're not against the white community. We have to come into the brotherhood. That brotherhood. We don't want to be forever in this enmity. We must have the dignity and reality of what should be taking place, but not forever in a stance of enmity, and never in a stance of enmity. That's why nonviolence. Because it was not to it was to end in reconciliation. And I love that he had enough courage for that, and those who were with him. He wasn't alone. And so I just like that when we're thinking about peace in the world, with wherever we're at, with whatever we are, that our impatience should be for brotherhood. And we should be totally impatient for that. We should be impatient for any of these goals of human dignity for anyone at any time. You might think that I would call for patience when it comes to creating peace. And no, be impatient, be in a hurry. And of course, all things in life are sometimes done best by patience, but anyway, that's just something to think about in the other direction. So, see ya.